Brooks. My guest today is Rachel Beck. You like to talk about India, LinkedIn, diversity, social media, and mental health. Rachel, your tagline is be inspired by your own story. And our tagline is everyone has a story. You are not only my good friend, but I'm so happy to have you on the show. Rachel, welcome to American Real.
Hello, how are you?
Thanks so much for coming on today.
Oh, thank you for having me. And you're correct. We are very good friends.
Now, and I think it's been, I want to say almost 2 years since we connected the first time through LinkedIn.
Yes.
And your platform, as I've been watching now for this time, has just exploded. But it's in, what I like about what you do is you're so authentic, you're so genuine, you offer so much value.
Hi, Derek. Hi, Rosie.
And that's why so many people love to connect with you.
Hi, Rosie.
So I want to ask, what is it about LinkedIn, do you think, that is different from some of these other social media platforms, and why are you attracted to it?
I'm actually, let me be honest, I'm not a good person to ask that question because I'm only on LinkedIn. So I don't have experience with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. This is really my space. So like people ask like, what do you think of so-and-so? And so I learn from other people, when they talk about their platforms. But I'm also, this is what people don't know, Roger. I'm a team of one. People think I have a team of like 20 behind me, and that's not the case. So this is like what I can handle every single day.
Well, it is incredible what you do as a team of one,
Thank
because
you.
I know the volume of content that you put out. I know the engagement that you have with people. I see your comments, not only on my post, but dozens and dozens and dozens of other people. And I commend you for that, because there's so many people today, and we talked about it offline a little bit, that are not as authentic, and they may use robots or other sources to be able to engage. But it's great to hear that you're doing all that yourself. But do you see a point here when you won't be able to handle it all yourself?
No, because my relationship with my network is extremely, extremely important to me, and I won't ever lose that, ever. Like it's always gonna. I feel very strongly about. Someone just asked me that recently, like when we were talking privately. So no, I want to. I wake up every morning. I'm like, "Good morning. How is how you and I talk when you're on my post?" And so these are real relationships. Or like when Derek pops on, "Hi, Elsie. Hi, everyone." So it's that real relationship, right? And I know what's going on. So no, I wouldn't lose that. I don't care if I'm a very early riser anyways, but if I had to get up that hour extra, then I would do it because it's important to me.
Well, and I so respect you for that and everything that you do every single day. And once again, I'm glad to have you on today, because we have so much to talk about. We have so much in common.
Yes,
The first thing, though, I thought we would start out by, because I don't see you talking about this too often, but can we start off by talking about the book that you wrote? Because you and I are both writers.
Yes.
And this is a really special book. Can you talk about, first of all, give us the title, let us know where people could find it, and then a little insight about how this book came to be and the story behind it.
It's actually the story behind it is pretty amazing. Oh, thank you, Gabe. The story behind it is pretty phenomenal. My book's called Finding Your Way When Life Changes Your Plan, which is on Amazon. And what people don't know is part of the proceeds of my book are being donated back to an orphanage in India, and that is where my whole story begins. So I never forget where I come from. I was an orphan. My mom died 2 days after giving birth. I'm looking for my biological father. Was adopted by an incredible family. So that's a huge part of what I don't forget where I come from. So I have this goal that I'm trying to reach that I would like to donate back to the orphanage. So that's a huge part of my story. You just there you are.
Wow. And again, that just shows your character, that you came from an orphanage, so you're giving back to those who are in need. And that's very rare today. So I commend you for that.
Thank
So
you.
give us a little bit of your journey. So you were put up for adoption. And then what happened? Where did you grow up?
I grew up outside Philadelphia. Was there till I was about like 18. Moved to Florida. Was there for 13 years. Then made the journey to the Midwest for 15 years. And then I just moved back to Florida about 9 months ago. And so it's been a tough journey. And you're asking, where did the idea come from? Right? It actually came from one of my girlfriends. I had met her in India, and then she had gone back we met again in India. And she called me one day, and we were talking, and she said, Rach, I feel very, very strongly that you have a story inside of you that you need to get out. And I said, I'm not sure what you mean, because I'm not an author. And she said, do me a favor, sit down, try your best, and tell me what happened. So I ended up sitting down, and I started writing, and I would write 5 hours a day. And I did that from like in August to October. And it was extremely healing for me, because my journey hasn't been easy. And that's something a lot of people don't know. And that's why I ask people all the time, please don't make assumptions about content creators, because for most of us, there's a very powerful story behind us.
Wow. Yeah. And how deep do you go in this book as far as how much you show in what happened in your life?
I went really, really deep, and I'm writing the second book. I'm 100 pages into that, and I'm going like deeper. When I wrote the first book, I had no experience, had no clue what I was doing, but I had always loved writing. So I was really concerned about the grammar and the editing, and then I hired a publisher, and an editor, and she took it from there. That was something I always tell authors, like, you get fixated on the, period, comma. And so now when I'm writing the second book, I'm writing, getting it out, and then I know my publisher editor will edit it from there. So I'm actually going very, very deep in the second book. Very, very deep.
Can't wait for that one, Rachel, and I'm sure your audience can't wait as well. So we'll keep an eye out for that. When do you expect it to come out?
Still writing it. I'll definitely. It's been, I've been focused. Like this year has really been about my network. I was very concerned about them. Like last March when everybody got locked in, I wanted to make sure that they were okay mentally, that they were still getting educated, that they were still motivated and inspired. It was my deep, deep, deep concern. And then it was also to help my network. Like you've been on my show. I've had you on the show to say, meet Roger, like hear Roger's story, like what he's doing. So I'm also very conscious right now that my network needs help. A lot of help.
Yeah, and can you walk us through a typical day for you? We wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about social media today, but let's start with you, Rachel. What does a typical day look like for you when it comes to your LinkedIn?
It's nonstop. I'm an early riser, so like I start, I take 1 hour to myself in the morning, right? Let me just say this, that's really crucial to get alone time. And so it's half my day is either spent filming, right? Filming people in my network, doing meetings. You see me engaging on people's posts, and the other half I'm doing interviews or setting up. But usually I do about a 16-hour day. I do take 2 breaks, and that's the biggest mistake people make I've been working at home for 15 years, so that way wasn't a change for me. I know the importance of taking breaks. So it's about a 16-hour day to do it, and I try to tell my network that's what it takes to hit that level of success is, are you willing to do the work? Because people will write me, in direct messages and say, I want to be successful overnight. Can I do it in 10 minutes? And my polite answer is, no, it's not possible. And I say, what you put out in LinkedIn is what you're going to get back out of it. So
No, it's so true.
you know that.
Oh, yes. And are you working 7 days a week, 6 days a week?
I work 7 days a week. I do, less time, and then we get like today was special for you, my friend.
And we so appreciate it, and the
So
audience does
I'm
as well.
grateful for you. So like, there's certain things that I have to get done, Saturday and Sunday for the whole week to work. There's a lot of organization and planning that goes on behind the scenes. And then I also disappear and, spend time with family and friends. All that is extremely important to me, as you know. And so I know, like, top of my priorities is my family and friends, work, and then, but that's never going to change. So, like, if you said, Rach, I need you right now, I'd pick up the phone and be there for you and your family. Like,
Oh, that's so awesome. Now, when it comes to LinkedIn itself, so you're at, I don't know how many, several 100,000 followers or connections on LinkedIn. What's the process so people have an understanding? I believe it's somewhere around 30,000 connections that you could have. Is that correct? And then what happens after that?
and this is a big mistake people don't realize, right? So if you hit 30, and one of my friends taught me this, when I hit 30, you need to add that follow button, right? You need to add that follow button to the profile. So, like, for me, when I go to your post, right, because we're good friends, since I can't connect with people anymore, I will follow them. So if I see a really nice comment someone's writing to you, I go boom, 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 follow, 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 follow. So if they're past that and they haven't added that connect button, I can't follow them, right? Because the technology isn't there. So that's what I do now. So yeah, 30,000 is when you add that follow button.
And what is someone like me, for example? I don't have 30,000
You're
followers.
gonna get there.
So at some point we'll get there. But then it's just organic followers that come to you. Is that how it works?
So they could come to, yeah, and it's the relationship, right? And yeah, the more, like, the thing I do together, what we're gonna be doing together in the future, that's it. And it's out there. It's giving the time. The biggest mistake I see people make, and we deeply, deeply appreciate the likes, don't get me wrong. They're not writing comments. And that's where the whole relationship is built. That is where everything happens on this platform. So if you're not taking that time to write the comments, you're missing out, because people like me look for those gorgeous comments to my friends and then click on there and follow. So that is a huge part of it. And I tell my network that at least on a once every 2 months, engage again. So that's a huge part of it, as you know.
For sure. And Rachel, I know you're really big on being a professional as well as etiquette. Can you talk about some of these things where you and I both see there's all kinds of, interactions that are both positive and negative, but how do you handle that from the standpoint of if people are not being professional or if they don't have the etiquette? Are you ignoring those people or what do you do?
Etiquette in professionalism is everything on this platform. Let me give you an example, right? So because you and I are friends, someone comes to me and they say, well, what do you think about Raj? And I'm like, yes, hire my friend. This is what he's doing. But the problem is here, I've seen the best of professionalism that's on a whole other level, and then I've seen the worst. Example is you give people an opportunity, they don't show up to the opportunity. There are people like today, right? You knew in your heart I was gonna show up. Let's talk about that. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, it wouldn't have been fair to you if you're going live. You're like, should show up. Like, what happened? So that's a big part. You and I both, we know about that. Say what you're gonna do. It's really, really important. If you're given that opportunity, show up for that opportunity, because you're not going to get it again. So, like, I'll give somebody that one chance, right? And I said, okay, I'm going to give you this opportunity, and then they don't show up. I would say this: 99.9% of the people, when I offer them an opportunity, they show up. There'll be like 1%. And for you and me, it's respect, right? A respect for our time. I respected you enough to show up today because you're my friend, and to be a professional and to be here with you. So it's about that professional level. And I grew up in a family of professionals. I was taught this. Hi, Mary. I was taught this at a very young age, how to be professional. So I was doing meetings at 16, 17, because I was doing something back then. So I also went to etiquette school, so I was trained on all of this. If you burn the somebody, and then let's give a perfect example. Let's say I have a bad experience with someone, and then you come to me and you say, Rachel, what do you think of so and so? Do you think I should have this person on the show? Because we're good friends, I'm gonna say, no, you should not. I mean, that's how it works, because I would want to say, Roger, let me send this person. This person is a complete professional. He or she is going to show up. They're going to be on time. So that's how it's done. It is a constant process of recommending people on this. It is I endorse people publicly, right? So you'll see me jump on the post and I'll say, hire Roger.
No, and that's so awesome. And look, I think keeping promises is so important. But one of the things I've been talking about too, and I wrote this in my last book, and I put out posts every now and again about this, is not only keeping promises to others, but start by keeping the promises you make to yourself. So if you say you're going to get up early in the morning, do it. If you say you're going to be on that podcast episode, do it. If you tell someone you're going to call them, do it. So keeping the promises we make to ourselves, I feel, are just as important as keeping the promises we make to others, if not more, because if we can't do it with ourselves, we're likely going to slip when it comes to others. And I'd love to get your take on that.
Yeah, it's important. Like you said, I block out that time that I take for myself. Here's another thing I would love to address, because I'm sure you've come across this too. Some people make it ridiculous to schedule with them. So, like, I've had a couple of people who that reach out and say, Rich, I'd love to have you on the podcast, right? And I try to, people ask me, I really try to do that for them because I want to support them. Oh, hi, Alberta. Some people don't, they make it so impossible I lose, and I'll say, okay, well, this doesn't work, or, your website's down. They'll say, well, you fix it. You go, like, I'm trying to help you. Like, so I would say that too, that people need to make it easy to schedule. If they make it more difficult, people are going to lose interest. That's a big problem. You made it so easy. You're like, Rach, boom, boom, boom. I said, great, this works. Let's do it. This is the date. So that's another problem I see. I see people making scheduling. It's not that difficult to do, but yet they make it difficult. And then when you say there's something wrong with your system, and like, well, it's not my system.
Right. Yeah, no, and I think that brings to mind accessibility, right? So I feel, I wasn't always this way. So I would say, I don't know, maybe over the last 5 to 10 years, I've made myself a lot more accessible than I was before. But before, I had this, more of a self-importance that I didn't have time for someone. So I think as we get older and the more, we mature, and as we mature, and it doesn't matter on age, you could be a young person and still have a mature mindset, but giving others access to you is, to me, being a leader. When you don't give someone the access, or you make it difficult or challenging, especially for people who are trying to help you, like right. you want them on your show, make sure that you are accessible. Make that sacrifice to say, oh, okay, I can make the exception, just as you did for me today. I typically only record on Saturday. You don't typically record on Saturday. So
I do have Saturday and Sunday.
You made yourself accessible, and I so appreciate that. But I hope people see that, right? And you
made it easy to schedule, right? It was like, besides that, we have the other friendship where I can text you and go, hey, Roger, what's going on? But the other thing is, like, how easy are you making it to work with? And I talked about that to my network. Are you making it easy to work with you? Are you making it more difficult? The reason why I did the video I did yesterday, I talked about people like you and me who do a lot of stuff for free out of the goodness of our hearts. Are you making it easier, or are you making it harder? for us. You know, I've had experiences where I'm helping people and out of the goodness of my heart, and either the person's trying to make it difficult or there's like entitlement where I'm like, listen, I'm trying so hard to, or they're making it more difficult. So that's why I addressed it yesterday in the video that I did.
What type of response did you receive on that?
On what, the video?
Yes.
Oh, you know what? You know, thousands and thousands of people are watching it. You know, because I think it's a message that needs to be said about respecting people and understanding that a lot of us get up every day and we do this from the goodness of our heart. We do it from wanting to truly help people and educate people. I'm just being this, educating people. I'm giving them this advice for free, and I tell my network all the time, like, listen, here's the tips. This is how you're getting to success. All you have to do is follow it. And I've been doing that series since the pandemic, and I'm going to keep up with it. So yeah, it's important. And it's important. What I have seen this year, Roger, is entitlement. It's gone way, 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 way up. Way up.
Why is that?
You know, a couple of us have wondered that. I have no idea why. Like, I've seen it where it's shocking to me. Like, first impression, and I'm a person who's big on first impressions. So that first impression, it's make or break. I'm done. Like, I'm not one of those people who believe, like, no, that first impression is everything. I think that a lot of the entitlement has gone up either due to fear. I've been thinking about this whole year because I've seen it. And it's not okay, and I'm trying to teach my network, if you're not entitled and you're a kind, respectful human being, you're going to fly on this platform. You are just going to fly. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I believe that. I absolutely believe that, because I see you and many others that don't have that entitlement mentality, and you're just soaring.
I'm grateful. Like my network, I always end every Friday saying, I love you. I'm grateful and I'm appreciative. And it's crucial because and then I stop, you know, every time when I do a video, just saying thank you. Because there's not a day that goes by I'm grateful. You know, and I keep a bubble over my network, right? I only let kind, positive people in there. So
I love that, Rich.
Yeah.
But why is it that some people, and I don't want to try to label anyone, but why do some people carry themselves in a way that, and not so much on social media, but just, you know, in our daily lives, where they have like a sour face or a negative attitude, or they don't say hello when they walk by you? What do you think it is? Is it that we don't know enough about them? And am I making a judgment that some people are just sour? Or is that how they are, or is it a combination? What do you think?
It's interesting you say that because I'm minored in psychology, right? So I'm always studying people's behavior, especially in the digital world. I study it all day long. So I think, you never know what comes down to empathy, because we never know what someone's going through, what kind of day they're having, or maybe we're misreading what's on their face that day. I'm a person, every emotion's on my face, so whatever I'm feeling, you're gonna know about. But I think that sometimes it's just misread. And then you and I I know this, we're deeply conscious of having a positive mindset. We get up and we make that decision every day. And so at least we know we started the day with that. Whatever happens during the day could change how we feel. But it's a choice. And all you and I can do is go out there and spread more positivity, spread more empathy, spread more love, spread more kindness.
It's so true. And I remember when I had the opportunity to interview Ed Milet, what he said was, if you could start the day with little wins, maybe you return an email that came the night before, or maybe you make that phone call first thing in the morning for someone that you forgot to call yesterday. But if you have that little win first thing in the morning, then that could build the momentum to have a really good day. And I keep that in mind all the time, where I'm trying every day, like you say, wake up with a positive mindset and just build off of those little wins that hopefully carry you and others that see you interacting like that throughout your day. because that in itself could have an impact on people, right?
Yeah, and you and I both know not every day is rainbows and unicorns. You know what I've been through. You know what I've been. The battles that I have fought. You know that I've had I've been dealing with racism my whole life, and I've had the worst experiences happen to me this year. So not is like rainbow and unicorns for us. And I'm honest. I honor all my emotions. I did a video where I was crying, where I just something really bad had happened before the day, and I sat on my couch and said, "Listen, today's not a good day. This is what happened last night." And so I try to share that. Yeah, I try to share, like, to show every emotion that we have is ours. It belongs to us. So when people say, "Well, you should feel this way," I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. I need to feel the way I feel right now in this moment." So I always tell people, like, honor your emotions. If my emotions reading on you in a negative way, I'm not talking about a good way, but if I'm not doing it in a negative way. So the minute I see people tearing up other people, right, and they're spewing their negativity all over this platform, I can't be around it. I won't endorse them. I won't get behind them. I won't have them in my network. I don't, the people in work have straight out told me I can't be around negativity because my life is negative enough right now. Losing jobs, losing savings, losing, grieving over family members, losing children, losing homes. So they're like, I get on to be around positivity because my life right now is terrible. So that's why you and I choose to send the messages.
Powerful, powerful. So you mentioned racism, and I know it's a sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially now, but it's an important topic. And look, if we can't talk about the important topics, then I don't know what we could do. Our show is American Real,
That's right.
REL. I like to talk about real things. These are real things that are happening. You and I both grew up, I believe, from our past conversations, not seeing color, right? Not seeing race, not seeing religion, not seeing all the things that, people were either born into, or made some choices on whether it was religion or whatever it might be. But don't we have to respect one another? Can't I can't fathom that in this day and age, racism is like still one of the top challenges in our country and in our world, but especially in our country right now. It's just it's at an all-time high, and it's very sad.
Yeah, trust me, it's not easy being an Indian Jewish American woman. I'm very proud to be Indian, very proud to be Jewish, I'm very proud to be American. All those are who I am. I'm done apologizing for the color of my skin. I'm done with it. Like I'm done defending it, like all of it. My answer to end racism in this country is I've been giving talks on diversity awareness for 15 years. I go into churches, synagogues, I go into universities, like all these different areas to educate people to end the stereotypes. It's not better. Here's the only difference, right? People are seeing it because people are filming it. That's the only difference. You're starting to see these videos of what happens to people. 10 years ago, nobody would. No one would film. But that's a reality. And every time I've had a bad situation, because what happens is I become paralyzed with fear while it's happening. And I have a lot of friends who are cops who are really good friends said, Rach, turn on your camera. We need the evidence. Or, they can't do this to you. Get some evidence of this. Because I never go after the people. I just walk away. I mean, no, it's been absolutely intolerable in this country. It's been intolerable. Like that, the word you and I both know that begins with N. I don't even say it. I get that called. People will walk up to me and just say it and walk away. You can't afford to shop here when I go into a store. People follow me up to my home. I've had names, like people I'll be minding my own business, walking my dog, and someone will scream the N-word out, right? I've had people bang on my glass in my car, bang on my driver's seat, and say, "What are you?" And then I'm like, I'm a freaking human being. But when you're a woman and you're in the car and you have some strange man banging on your glass, that's not the answer you're gonna say. So no, it's not good. It's not any better. The only way to handle it is to have these tough discussions, because people need to open their eyes. You need to open their eyes.
Yeah, and I really think it begins at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, not everyone has a good home either,
Mm-hmm.
but I believe it's our duty, our responsibility as parents, as grandparents, as aunts and uncles, as elders to our younger generations, to be the example. If they see the parents or grandparents or aunts and uncles acting in that way, then they're going to do it too. Or if the kids are acting out, they need to let them know. But I really believe it starts at home, and having the tough conversations at home. And we've talked about it before. I know that's something you agree with as well.
I do. I took a whole class in university about it called race relations, right? The history of race in this country. And it absolutely, racism is a learned behavior. I've studied it enough, with like the sociology classes and just deep in university studying this topic. It is a learned behavior. I've seen it. Here's a perfect example. I was at a playground once years ago, right? And there's some kids playing in the sandbox, all different races, right? Probably 2 to 3 years old, having the best time, building the little sandcastles. Woman walks up, takes the kid out, and I just commented like, oh, so I was with my friend's kid. I was like, oh, they're having such a good time, like playing together. My child doesn't play with their color. And I was like, and this poor 2-year-old kid who had been in the sandbox, just shoveling, being a kid, right there. And I'm like, and that poor child. It is definitely taught. I've had friends who grew up in racist homes, left when they were 18 because they didn't have any other choice. You're 18 in the house, left, and then stopped and became who they are today.
And the fact that you say it is a learned behavior, can it be unlearned?
Yes.
How does that happen?
It becomes like a conscious choice that people make. I've seen it. I've seen like hands go up when I give a talk about this. It is absolutely a conscious choice. You can walk away. Look, there's things that, here's an example, Roger. This is like perfect. If someone's telling you to do something dangerous, are you going to follow it? Probably not. You're probably going to, if you and I were standing there saying, oh, let's walk down, this train track, and while there's another train coming, no, we're not going to do that. Why? Because it's dangerous. So we know not to follow that crowd. We know that it is not the right decision. So a huge part of it is the mob mentality. We've seen it. We know what's going on. We know what we've seen unroll in this country. So that's a big part of it. It comes down to what the mob mentality, how to end that. Because we saw it. We saw it at the Capitol, right? We saw what happened. So can you unteach this to people? Absolutely you can. How do you do it? By having discussions. So when I go in and I speak, I do Q&A. People ask very powerful questions. I answer everything. It's a non-judgment free zone because that's what people need to feel safe. And I'll answer anything. Oh, I have stereotypes about Jewish people. Is this true? And I'll say, no, it's not, but thank you so much. Thank you for asking that question because it's going to help everybody else. You can unlearn it. I'm working very hard on it. I'm working extremely hard on it.
Yeah, and I think the more people like us that have the conversations and help by spreading kindness and having empathy and all the things that you've talked about so far in this episode, I feel I have hope for the future, that we will see a turnaround, but we just need to be united in thought and in action in order to get to a better place. But I have a lot of hope for our future.
I don't lose hope. If I lost hope, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing every day. You know what I mean? The minute I lose hope is the minute I don't get up, because it's the power of hope. And what I believe is capable or what I'm trying to achieve to make this place a better world, like that's what gets me up. If I thought, okay, this isn't going to work, what am I doing?
Yeah. No, and I have to tell you, I'm so proud of you as a friend, and just watching you from the outside and seeing all the goodness that you're bringing to the LinkedIn platform and beyond, because you're touching a lot of lives. But one of the things I know that's important to you that we wanted to touch on today is women entrepreneurs, the importance of that, the importance of supporting women. I do everything I can,
Yes, you do.
and I have throughout my whole career.
Yes.
Inequality, it's just unacceptable, whether it's in the workplace or anywhere. So I love seeing women excel in their careers. I am surrounded by so many women entrepreneurs, but
Yeah.
I know this is a topic that's really important to you. Talk about why it's important to you, how you have found the courage to get to where you are, and how you're helping so many others.
It's crucial to me, right? I have been very blessed because I have two female, two strong, I have many female, right, inspirations, but in my life, personally, I have two powerhouse women, right? And they ran their own businesses. No words. So I watched this, growing up and seeing what they're doing. It is crucial. Look, I've worked for myself for the last 15 years, and there's many reasons why, and I will continue to do that. I'd like to choose like who I want to work with. It is crucial because the doors were open for me, and I'm so grateful to those women. I want to open those doors to the other women because none of us got here without the women in front of me doing that. It takes a lot, I feel, as a woman entrepreneur, and I'm going to say this even more as a minority woman entrepreneur, for somebody who gets up and they do, 100%, and they give it 100%, I feel like I have to give it 200%. Hey, Panda, I feel like I have to give it 200% as a minority woman because I'm knocking down the doors. They've already judged me as a woman, right? And then the second strike, oh, you're a minority woman. So that's another issue. So yeah, I'm gonna open these doors for these women. I'm gonna get them through, and that's why I'm very strategic about everything I do. You see me writing on a post, people need to connect with you. People need to support you. Let's lift you up. I'm sending you up. I'm strategic about it. I want the women in my network to make it to the top. The other message that women are missing on this platform, women need to support other women. If they don't come together, no jealousy, no hate, no envy, you will not make it on this platform. Women hold a tremendous amount of power on this platform, and you know that, right? So yeah, women come together and lift each other up, and then, thankful for the women who are in front of us and sacrifice so we could be here today. So in order to honor those women, then do the right thing. You're voting today because of women. You have equal rights in this country because of women. You have freedoms in this country because of women. So pay it forward to our generation and set a good example.
Wow, I love that. And what can men do better, more, to help women as well? Because we have an obligation too, right, to support and all the things you mentioned. But what do you think specifically men, especially men of influence on LinkedIn and other platforms, what can they do?
You know what? 99.99% of the men in my network are gentlemen. And I'm like freaking proud of them for them. That's why they're still in the network. Is supporting the women, right? So like it's crucial, right? Because I just did a show with two of my guy friends who started LinkedIn Me Too movement. So I said, Rage, can you do the first show and share what you go through in the week? And I talked about the horrible comments, the disgusting stuff, so that is men who are standing up and saying, enough, stop, treat the women right. The powerhouse of men, of the influencers on this platform, they're doing it. They're using their voices. So when someone writes me inappropriate sexual comment on my post, what happens? The guys in my network jump in and go, stop. Don't talk to Rachel like this. You need to respect her. We're not going to tolerate this behavior. So yeah, there's a lot of gentlemen on this platform. I've been trying to highlight them for the last year and a half.
No, you have, and you do such a great job of it. One example I just wanted to give, something that I started, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, is I put out weekly something called Kind Magazine.
Yes.
And it's important to me. Obviously, there's so many wonderful people to feature on this cover of this magazine, but it's really important to me that there's, equal treatment here. And not that I'm measuring, 50-50 or anything like that, but for me, it's really important to really embrace and highlight the women entrepreneurs on the platform and all the good things that we're doing. And I have to tell you, I love, after putting these posts out, I love watching all the viral comments that come from it. So I just, for people that are listening, if you could think of something in your world to do to help, and it doesn't even have to be anything, that dedicated, but the simple fact that if you could highlight women, encourage people to follow women, especially women entrepreneurs who are trying really hard to make it, then, it could only good could come of that.
That's right. And it goes both. Like, just like as a woman, here's a perfect example, right? As a woman, I literally support 100% of the men on this platform. They are my friends, the influencers, and I jump. I'm like, Roger, have a great day. You got this. People need to follow you. So it goes both ways because I support the men on this platform. And here's the biggest problem: when women say women support women, it does not mean we don't support men. And I had a guy say to me, well, you only support women. I'm like, no, you're wrong. I support the men on this platform as well.
Right.
So that's it's like a stereotype. No, we stand behind the men too, who are kind and respectful. We stand behind those men.
And we did touch on diversity a little bit, but can you talk a little bit more? Why is that important to you? Like, when you think of diversity, in what way? How does that come into play in your world?
It's everything. It's my face. It's every day. It's waking up and saying you're an Indian American woman, a Jewish woman. I see it every day. It's not something that I'm like, this is not who. No, this is who I am. And it's taken me a long time because of feeling like I fit into what views of society were, and then somewhere in my late 20s, I said, screw this, I'm done. I'm gonna be me. Whether or not somebody accepts it, then that's on them. And that is that. And so now I'm trying to say, hey, like, brown skin's beautiful, African American skin is beautiful, Hispanic, every race that we have, it is beautiful. And then people say, well, you don't understand because you're not white. I'm like, my mom and dad are Caucasian. My brothers are Caucasian. I was adopted by a white Jewish family. So I try to say, like, it's not a matter. It doesn't matter what we look like. I don't even see that. I don't even see it when I meet somebody. It's like, this is my friend Roger. This is who he is. It's not on the outside what matters to me. It's how you are on the inside that matters.
So well said. And look, I hope people are really listening to that, because you're living it, and you're an example of goodness. And when you look past the color, when you look past the race, when you look past the religion, because of the way you grew up with in not seeing any color. And I have to tell you that it's a wonderful thing to be able to look at someone in the eyes and seeing the soul versus anything external, including color.
I look at the inside. That's what attracts me to a human being. It's not on the outside. Look, I've met people who are drop dead gorgeous physically, and then inside I'm like, okay. And then there's the people who and so it's just like, it's that person inside, because in the very, very end, your looks are gonna fade, right? Let's be honest about it. Looks fade, time fades. you might change. I could wake up tomorrow. I have scars all over my body from surgeries I've had, from accidents. If I had a scar tomorrow on my face, would I still get on this platform and do what I'm doing? Yes, I would, because it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't. It's the person on the inside. So when I'm on your post or on one of our friends' posts, I'm looking at how is someone treating him today? Is he being kind? I sincerely look for people who are being respectful. I look for people who are being kind. That's what I'm looking for. It doesn't matter, because if I woke up tomorrow and had a scar across my face, it wouldn't make a difference. I'd still do what I'm doing. People tear me up for my looks now. Am I gonna win? No. You should see some of the comments people write me. It's horrifying. My family just recently asked me, they said, how do you do this? The women in my family, how do you do this? Doesn't it, there's other words, doesn't it mess with your self-esteem? I said, of course it does, and of course it hurts. But in order to survive on social media, I have learned to build a steel cage around myself. And I know what needs to come in and what needs to go out. That is the only way to survive on social media. It's the only way. You'd be horrified to know some of the stuff that's sent to me. You'd be absolutely horrified. That's my friend. It's terrible. I've been called the N-word on this platform, where somebody straight out wrote in the comment section. So yeah, I'm trying to silence racism on this platform too. Let's talk about that, because it's going on.
Yeah, I know. If that does happen to people, just so they know, are they able to report it? How does that work, Rach?
Well, I block them immediately, because I don't even want. First of all, if someone's calling me the N-word, I don't want to be around them anyways, right? So yeah, you can block them, you can report them. I always say this, you and I as influencers, we're deeply conscious of the words that we put out, right? Every single word we say. But we also know we can't control what people say to us. We can't. So if someone, is going to call me an N-word, which has happened multiple times, it's block, delete, goodbye. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to be around it. If I'm not going to tolerate it out in the real world, and I have to deal with it in the real world, why in the world would I tolerate it here?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So when it comes to social media, how can we help some people today that are maybe they're on LinkedIn or one of the other platforms, but they're afraid to post. They have fear of posting. They have fear of putting themselves out there. They have fear of doing a video or even
I was one of those. It took me about a year. I would say I have to look at the date, but it was 6 months to a year till I did a video. I would write text and interact, and then finally one day I had written this really powerful post the day before, and the commentary and what people had shared with me was deeply personal, and I turned on the camera. You can't push people. People are ready. They're ready. For me, I literally woke up one morning and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna do a video today." I pushed past my fear, and today's the day. And people are like, "What? You're real?" Because I hadn't done a video yet. It takes time. Don't push yourself. Practice. For people who don't, I tell people, if you don't want to post it yet, practice taking videos. Go out, go film a video of yourself. Watch it. See what you think. Is it engaging? Do you want to interact with it? Is the message you want to send? It never, ever, ever has to be perfect. And that's the mistake that's the problem. People wait. I keep my videos that are bloopers and mistakes. So if there's technical difficulties, I do this strategically. I'll write technical difficulties today, or so-and-so happened. And I do that so people know it doesn't have to be. Things are going to happen. It's technology. But practice with yourself. Take a video, show your family, show your friends, say, hey, is there something I can do better, or work? Get critique from people who are not obviously going to tear you down. You're nurturing people who are going to give you positive feedback. So that's it. Take your time, get out there. No one is going to judge you. And if you know what, they're not your tribe.
Yeah.
They are not your tribe.
That's right. No, and I like the fact that you're telling people to practice. I think that's a great, tip for sure. I did put out a post yesterday, and it basically said this. It said, "Start before you're ready."
Yes. Yes.
So what I like about that, I mean, obviously, you may never be ready. So my point was, you're never going to get to perfection. So at least attempt to take some action to do it. And it doesn't have to necessarily be social media, but we're happy to be talking about that now. But I got some really good engagement because, and reading through the comments, people are fearful of starting before they're ready. They want everything to be perfect.
Doesn't have to be.
And it doesn't have to be,
You
right?
should see my first video. Oh my gosh, you should see. It was actually, I should like repost it again now so people see it.
You and me both.
My first video, and like it was okay. And people were like, Rach, you did it. Like this is what's gonna happen. Whenever I see somebody go, they post their first video, I'm like, yes, you did it. Because first of all, it takes courage. Don't criticize what you're not doing. It takes a tremendous amount of courage for you and I to get up, do a video every single day, and like throw it out to the world, which we know we're opening ourselves up to a whole bunch of criticism and the naysayers and the haters. So it takes a tremendous amount of courage. It's never gonna. You can do it. You can do it. And to let go of what are people going to think? Well, you can't control what people are going to think. I put my messages out every day for my network, for the people that I know who need to hear the message. That's why I do every day. It's to reach my network and say, get up, go. You got this. Is all the videos going to be perfect? No. What's more important to me is the message I'm putting out into the world.
Oh, I'm so glad you talked about that, because to me, that's the most important thing. We're not doing it for ourselves.
Right.
We're doing it for others. And that's the exact same thing when I talk to people and help people who are writing their first book. Sometimes they have all these, self-limiting beliefs. Well, I'm not a good writer, or I've never done this before, or I don't have anything to say. And what I basically tell them is this: look, don't think so much about yourself. Think about the knowledge that you have inside your mind. You need to get it out there for others. That's the reason you need to write this book. Yes, it'll be a nice accomplishment for you as an individual, but you're really doing it for the others on the other side who could benefit from that. And you never know who you're going to touch, whether it's a LinkedIn post or you're writing a book or an article. When we create content, that's to help other people. Our ego, it wants it for ourselves. So if we could get past our ego, and sometimes it's hard to do, but once you break through, like you did several years ago, like I have done, several years ago, then it's an afterthought. You don't think about the self anymore. It's always about, who can I help today?
Who can I help? You want to hear something? I'll let you in on one of my secrets. Okay. Someone just asked me this the other day, one of my close friends. He said, Rach, what's your goal every day? I said, I get up every day and my hope is to inspire one human being. That's my goal. I said, anything above that, I'm beyond grateful, fortunate that I did it inspires. But I want to inspire one person a day. That's my goal. And I'm trying to teach people not to be perfect. We're going to love you the way you are. We don't care what you look like. It's the message, and we need it. We need you to get out there and get your message out to this world right now.
So important. Yeah, no, and that brings up another point. Like I wanted to mention this earlier and it slipped my mind, but you just reminded me of it. So one of the posts I put up, again, quite frequently, is help one person a day.
Yes.
So we're on the same wavelength, right? But the point I wanted to make was, it's okay to repeat a post. You don't have to do it too often, but think about, if you put up a post today, you may want to repeat that post a couple of months from now, because there's going to be people that didn't see it, that are new followers or new connections of yours, that are going to see it in the future. So I wanted to get your take on that. Are there messages that you continue to repeat? Because sometimes it takes 3, 4, 5 times for someone to hear something for it actually to sink in.
I don't repeat, there's the themes, I'm a big advocate of spreading kindness, respect, and love on this platform. So no, I don't, but there's a reason. I'm strategic. There's a reason why I do everything that I do. Every post that you see, I've spent a lot of time on it, thinking about it, thinking, okay, is this gonna take this world one step further? So that is extremely, extremely important to me. So no, I think our post belongs to us. It's our creative freedom. It's our intellectual property. It's the thoughts that we have. So yeah, it's our space to create what we want to create. So if you're tired one day and you're like, oh, I need to like redo a post, the biggest mistake people get into is that they don't create a content calendar, right? So like I know I create a content calendar. I know what I'm gonna do. It's part of planning and being an influencer. So it's creating, it's a deeply creative process. It's a very creative process. So if someone's sick and they're like, you know what, today I'm just going to post what do you love on pizza, right? And people love posts like that. We always have fun discussions about it. So yeah, let people, for some people, writing is their only outlet. Doing video is the only way they express themselves. Let them get that out. Obviously, they're putting a nice message into this world. I'm not talking about the other messages.
Awesome. Rachel, you've been so gracious with your time on this Saturday. Thank you so much. I have a couple quick questions for you at the end here.
Hi, Michael. I'm trying to say hi, Panda. Did I miss anybody? I don't want to.
And I love that you do that, by the way. That's so wonderful.
Let's see did I miss anybody? Hi, Alberta. Hi, Gabe. Please. Okay. I'm like, did I miss anybody?
You're so awesome. Tell us something about you that maybe people don't know.
There's a couple things. I was a quarterback of a football team. Yes? Yeah, you didn't know that. Yes. Look at your face.
Wow. I'm
impressed. Like a fun social league in my 20s. I was actually the quarterback of it. I was actually just talking to someone, because we kept, the friendship for like, I'm 45 now, and we were just talking about, like, do you remember when we were like in our 18 and 19s and we were like, he's like, you were the quarterback of the team and I was a quarterback, and it was male versus female, so it was like a lot of fun, right? We had the girl team. So that's something people don't know. The other thing they don't know is, think about this. I push through fears a lot.
Awesome. If you were to take out your cell phone and call the 20-year-old Rachel.
Yeah. I couldn't hear the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. What would you tell her? What advice would you give that 20-year-old Rachel?
Surround yourself with the right people. Don't care what other people think about you, because you can't control what other people. I wish I would have learned that a long time ago, like in high school. And who you surround yourself with, and I told my network this weekly, is everything. It is everything. Make the right choices.
You are so right. That is so smart.
I surround myself with you. That's what I do.
I'm sorry?
I surround myself with you. That's what I do.
No, and it goes both ways. Absolutely. Last question I have for you, which I try to ask every guest on the show, Rachel, and that is, and you still have a lot of life to live, but at the end of the day, what do you want your legacy to be? What type of mark are you trying to leave on this earth?
My legacy is everything to me. Let me explain why. It's, I'm accountable for 5 parents, right? The biological mom who died, the biological father I'm looking for, the 2 who adopted me, who are my parents, the woman who took me in to her home in India while the orphanage was being built. Everything I do is about my legacy. It is deeply, deeply, deeply important to me that one day at my funeral, as someone says, she tried her best every day to make this world a better place. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, in honor of my 5 parents that have been in my life. It's hugely important to me.
Wow. You are amazing. Rachel, Beck, welcome to the American Real family. Thank you so much for your time today. And I cannot wait.
In studio. We're going to do it in studio.
That's right. That's right. I cannot wait to continue to see what's ahead, especially your new book.
And people, connect with Roger. You got to connect with Roger.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.